Hello, and welcome to the second part of the Rex Riches mini-series on the Amazon class. On day number 1, we took the Amazon from normal to hell. We leveled her from level 1 to level 80. We also did Ubers with the decoys on. On day 1, I also tested doing Ubers with decoys on as well, just to try and see if you can keep one respec to do both Ubers and Dclone, but similar to other classes. It seems that it's better to change your spec into a more suitable early game Dcloner if you do wish to farm your own annihilus, which will save you a bunch of currency in the long run. So with that said, let's pull the video of day number 2 and see how we did there. So we started by shopping for a pair of gloves from Anya. The reason you want to shop pairs of gloves from Anya is because she can give you up to 3 skills to any of your skill trees and up to 20 IAS as well, which will be a huge boost for you, especially early game. And we were looking for free to bow and arrow gloves with possibly IAS. IAS wasn't the main thing we were looking for. It took us 2.5 minutes to shop for those. So amazing boost to your strength early on. The build we were looking to do Dclone with was Immolation Arrow, and Immolation Arrow has 2 synergies with Magic Arrow and Fire Arrow, or sorry, it has 3 synergies with Explosive Arrow, Fire Arrow, and Magic Arrow. The rest of our points went into 1 for every passive and the prerequisites, of course, and the rest into Dodge and Evade to get more FHR and more faster run walk. Yeah, with the rest is mostly the gear that we had before. We had the Kiras, the water walks. We had the armor, the rare armor that we just dropped in the Maggot lair that had like 15 PDR. We slammed it for 7 more PDR, so I had 22. We crafted a caster bow that gave us +4 to skills. You can get up to +6. We just felt like +4 would be enough. The torch, of course, that we got from the Ubers, the gloves, 2 res rings. I think I'll be showing all those in a moment. All of our points is almost in vitality. We just have dex and strength to wear our gear. This is our crafted caster bow. That's what it gave us. You can get more skill points. This can be even easier. These are the gloves. I didn't slam them because for the most part, any slime you're going to get on gloves early on is going to be pretty underwhelming, unless you get like a breakpoint from the IES, which wouldn't have happened in our case. Akira's with FHR Slam and a Thul Rune because we needed the resistances. You got this rare armor we dropped. Amazing rare armor. This is like a poor man's shaft stop pretty much at the start of the season. This rare belt was the best rare belt that I found at that point. This ring with a ton of res and another res ring. I think that's the one we got from Ormus. Crafted brilliant amulets. Again, a reminder to everyone. Oh, sorry, this one is not a brilliant amulet. It's a blood amulet that we crafted. But remember, crafting amulets is a really good way to save yourself a ton of currency early. Instead of buying Amaras or something like that that would give you a ton of res, a few crafts you can hit 2+ to all skills. That would be kind of like Amara and getting like a bunch of resistances. It really does save you a lot in the long run. Pair of water walks with some fire res. We don't really need the extra fire res, but we wanted to slam it anyway. And this pair of bolts. I had this pair of arrows. I didn't find any arrows with +2 bow and arrow skills. These are skillers that were kind of like agreed on that we kind of earned during our first day farming. We kind of had a talk with chat, like considering all the things we dropped, what can I trade them for? And we grabbed 7 skillers. I have more, but 7 seemed like enough, maybe even more than we need to do this Dclone, and a bunch of other charms that we found along the way. So with that said, yeah, on the swap, I had a spell steal just because that's what I was farming with. We didn't have a CTA yet, so really demonstrating an early day 1, day 2 kind of gear you would have to like gain your first annihilus. And with this build, really grabbing as much plus kills early on is what you want. Something I also noticed is that you use a lot of mana with this build, so having like a SOJ early would have been super huge, but it felt like that would be way too rich for like day 2. So I was like, yeah, that's probably unnecessary. And you can see, like, I try to use my juice both for mana and for health. Make sure, of course, to prioritize health. Like don't like waste too much time, but also you don't need to shy away from getting damaged. If your mana is low, focus less on dodging and more on doing damage, and eventually you'll end up hitting the juice on both you know, health and mana. So you can kind of see, like, as long as Dclone is standing in place, you can deal pretty well with the Dclone phase. It's pretty easy. In this part, it's obviously the first time I'm trying Immolation Arrow, so it took me like a moment to get used to targeting the skeleton archers, which is probably what you want to be doing. You can see we're just kind of kiting the melee ones around. Sometimes they throw arrows at them as well, but I try to group up the skeleton archers so I can shoot at all of them with like one arrow. And yeah, we managed to clear them relatively well. There's like a couple more that's kind of like being blocked there. If Dclone is standing on them, you just need to, yeah, run away a little bit more to the outside. So he either follows you or just doesn't hit you with his lightning hose. Yeah, this was a long phase for the skeletons. I'm not sure what other tips for the skeleton phase I can give. Just getting like more skill points from your like pair of arrows, from like a better crafted bow. I just didn't pick up that many stag bows. That's the base you want to craft with. Stag, ashwood, like all these like special Amazon bows. Okay, you can see once we're back to the Dclone phase, we're relatively comfortable. We bring him down with just a few potions. Again, we try to focus the ranged and the caster ones. I think I do a little bit of a better job in the mage phase of doing that. I think, at least. That's why I remembered. Yeah, sometimes cutting through the middle if you see one of them is targetable. Exactly. Very good job. Okay, so we're improving as the fight goes. Hopefully that can be the case for a lot of other people who want to try this. This kind of like early Dclone strat. If you're playing Amazon, this was a very popular class in Season 10. I don't think it will stop being popular. People really like playing this class. So you can really do it yourself. I haven't played this class in 20 years, and this is really doable. It does sometimes require practice with the Dclone fight, but if you don't practice, you'll never make it. So start practicing now, okay? I believe in you guys. Yeah, we managed to take him down, and due to Amazon having such high movement speed with like the evade, it's actually really easy to like get to the corners in time when you see like Dclone walk to the middle. And yeah, at the end there, I didn't even mind tanking a little bit of damage. I just was like, yeah, let's finish this up. We had a full belt kind of like at the end. Felt very comfortable with this fight. It did not feel tiring. It did not feel too intense. I did have like time to fill up my belt. So I really think this is a solid day 1, day 2 kind of a Dclone killer. I would rank it somewhere in between. Like Druid was probably the easiest, with like Barbarian was probably the second so far, second easiest. This would probably rank slightly easier than Sorceress, and definitely easier than Necromancer for day 1 Uber like style of farm. After that, we wanted to test Fire Arrow. I know this is a very unpopular build. On day 2, we tested, as usual, these kind of like Mavina set, like the class set setups and similar budget setups. The idea was just to see if like Mavinas is a viable early like farming piece. Like, can you transition through buying Mavinas for cheap, farm a little bit, then get better gear? So we tried Fire Arrow on. I was told that Fire Arrow was nerfed pretty heavily and that Mavina set was nerfed in addition to that. So I didn't really know how this would end up. I obviously never played Fire Arrow in my life, so I'm just out here scrambling. But you can see that this is a map. We rolled maps specifically without Max to Life, without Fire Absorb. I wanted to see how it deals with mapping in a very like soft kind of approach, like very easy map to clear. And you can see that we're struggling really hard to deal any sort of meaningful damage. Now I tried getting closer to things to maybe deal a little bit more damage, and sometimes it was working, but for the most part it was really difficult to get anything going. The Mercenary was had like a pus pitter for lower resist, and we had the Mavina set, which is pretty like a demanding set. It has a lot of parts to it. Other than that, we just had like the gear that we were using, like nothing too crazy. The res rings, the Amazon amulet. So I really tried to make this work, but this was actually really difficult. As you can see, we're like here for a couple minutes already. this is not working so well, and this is as far as I remember, this is slightly sped up in addition. So I saw that it was not working. I went back to town, and I was really kind of like thinking, okay, I'm not doing this fire arrow thing. It was a nice attempt. Let's try cold arrow instead. This was the more popular build back in season 9. So I wanted to see in cold arrow, you can see the synergies are magic arrow and the ice arrow, like, so just these 3 skills. The rest of your points can go into the passive and magic skills. And again, we're just running Mavina set, so no like extra facet, nothing too crazy budget wise. We put a bunch of points into Pierce because we didn't have max Pierce otherwise, and then the rest we dumped into Evade. Yeah, we're getting tips on like using magic arrow for cold immunes. Yeah, we're gonna try it at the jungle. Yeah, I'm trying the gear. Shoutouts to, I don't remember the name, but somebody commented that it would be nice to actually show the gear while like I talk about the build, so people can see the actual items I'm using and not just kind of guess based on the names or based on something like that. Shoutouts to you, that was a good idea. So here I am implementing it. You can see we're using this crafted amulet, mermaids for faster run walk, +1 to bow and 20 IAS, bow skillers, some life and mana charms. Annihilus. The Annihilus is like pretty average. I took like an EXP slam. I wanted to demonstrate like a relatively average kind of Annihilus. I just wanted to get more experiences on farming. The torch is good, but it is the torch I have, so it is what it is. You know, some of us get a good torch, some of us get a bad torch. It's just a way of life. So over here, coming into the jungle, you can see that already cold arrow is doing a little bit better than fire arrow. It doesn't feel like we're stumbling through the early part of the map. So already I'm a little bit more optimistic. I did roll I did roll dulls for this map, which was a mistake, obviously. Don't roll maps with dulls, especially not early. They're so dangerous. They'll absolutely shred you. I was probably not paying too much attention when I was doing it. Like I saw this when I was like getting the clips together. I was like, why did I roll a dulls map for this? This is very unclear to me. Yeah, you can see them like doing significant damage to us. Still, cold arrow doing okay, better than fire arrow, that's for sure. So despite us using the exact same gear, exact same skillers, exact same charms, cold arrow does seem to do a little bit better, hinting that despite there being no differences in the Mavina set in terms of how it affects cold or fire, both get plus 5% mastery to the skill damage. It still seems like cold arrow scales a little bit better, especially in early. I don't know, like we'll test on day 3 more expensive gear, but it does seem like cold arrow scales a little bit better and does perform a little bit better. So if you're looking to play an elemental boson, I would recommend starting with cold out of the 2, but still you can see that relatively our damage is not super impressive. I'm showing it there, 8600 to 10k, which is, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's also not that good when you're not like really critting or anything like that. So yeah, we are clearing, but I'm not too happy with the speed we're doing it at. And yeah, I wonder how long this continues. Surely a little bit more. So yeah, we're going in, like you can go pretty close with the cold arrow as well, by the way, because of the slowdown that it provides. So it does feel a little bit safer. Apparently it has more range than fire arrow, which is also a benefit. So you are a lot safer and it deals more damage. So yeah, overall fire arrow probably needs some love. Probably, I don't know. Not as on player, not like super informed, just like from the experience that I had here. It felt like fire could use a little bit more love compared to the other builds that we tried, especially on the budget setup that we did go. Okay, surely this transitions to the next build because we're 10 minutes in. Yeah, there we go. We're opening a teleport. That's usually when I cut these, right? Okay, yeah. I was right. Okay, so the next build we tested was multi-shots with the 3 basic bow builds. We wanted to test fire arrow, cold arrow, physical arrow, and then javelin we'll test plague and lightning. like poison and lightning. So multi-shot, you put 1 point at the magic arrow and 20 points into multi-shot. Most of your points will be at the passive and magic skill tree. So you'll get like you don't need points into Pierce because I'm using a Barissa. If you're using a different bow, you'll probably want to max Pierce, so get as many points into Pierce to get that 100% Pierce, or as close as you can to it. We put the rest of our points into Evade, into Dodge to be safer, Maximum, Critical Strike, and Dump into Penetrate. In Season 11, Penetrate is getting changed, so every 2 points will give you 1 point of physical Pierce. So this is most likely getting max. Is going to be like a priority thing where you max Penetrate and Critical Strike in the future. But we will see how things pan out. Like, I'm not sure. We had a 4-O's Baritza, but I wanted to demonstrate more like a budgety approach, so I didn't put anything in the Baritza. So just like imagine like a bad slam Baritza. Make sure to up it though, so you deal that damage. We crafted a few safety armors. We had one with 188 enhanced damage. We also had one that was much better that we broke, obviously, but it is what it is. That's just part of life. We took a Ghoul Hides. I think for the mana and life leech, we just needed some leech. Razor Tail to get our Pierce to the max. These are the best bolts we had at the time, I think. We really didn't find that many bolts and arrows. Raven Frost for CBF. Ring for a little bit of resistances and half freeze. No, why did I use that ring? I actually don't remember why I used it. Goblin Toe that we found on day 1, and Gillens that we found on day 1 as well. So overall, like pretty budgety stuff. Like the most expensive thing that we got is the Baritza, and you can get like a cheaper one for sure. The Annihilus, the torch we used, the same skillers, the same charms, just mostly self farmed stuff. The Merc has a Witchwild bow. It's like a Vigor Merc, just so she can let us move a little bit faster. She has CBF, she has like some PDR and some IS and Life Leech. Nothing too crazy, mostly self-found again. Most of these things are just things we dropped. So again, very budgety approach, more budgety for the record than buying a Mavina's set. So multi-shot, looking to be more budgety than the first two, and as you can see, it performs a lot better as well. We tried it in both maps that we ran on the Fire and Cold Zone, and you can see that it's absolutely shredding them. It's not even close. I'm just probably changing like the volume or something. Oh no, I changed the loot filter. But you can see that it performs a lot better than the Fire Arrow, taking like 1/4 of the time maybe to clear with the same efficiency. So, or 4 times more efficiency. Takes the same time. No, okay, whatever. You understood what I mean. Okay, you don't need me to explain that one because it's gonna look weird if I do it for like 2 minutes, and it will take me 2 minutes. Anyway, let's enjoy this multi-shot Zon. This was the most popular build in Season 10, or one of the most popular builds at least for Amazon. You don't put any points into Vitality, Strength just to wear your gear, and full Dexterity. This is what you call the full Monkey mode. This one also has more range, of course, than Fire and Cold Arrow, and more spread as well, so you're clearing way better. Don't be afraid to drink potions if you're getting hit, and don't be afraid to run away. I just got surrounded there with like the freeze aura, so I should have kind of like run away a little bit faster. Here I'm getting like some cheap budget potions, but overall, like if you keep your distance and you just shoot, you will be fine. I just didn't notice like the aura there. The build was so successful on day 1, we wanted to test it in a tier 2 scenario as well. So we took it into the Ancestral Trials, which is an awesome map for the Boazon. And you can see, even in Tier 2, we're clearing with relative efficiency. The total map that it took us for Tier 1 was actually 10 minutes, which definitely gives a good fight to the sword clears that we had on day 2, sorry. It was fighting the Druid times, it was slightly behind the Necro times, and definitely beating the Barb times. So multi-shot looking to be a very viable farmer. Again, this is before any announcement were made if this build is getting changed. So if it does get nerfed in Season 11, which may be the case, I don't know if that is the case, it might be the case, then it is what it is. If it gets buffed, definitely have an eye out for this build again for Season 11 if you're looking to play Zon. We definitely found it to be super viable and super nice to farm with. Another benefit is because it is so safe, you can run very low resistances. I think we were running it at like 20 all resistances. So you really don't have to worry about putting like ums in your gear or like finding sockets early on. You don't need to find like very good charms. So we were pretty happy with that overall. The next build we tried after doing the multi-shots on, which we, again, did really well with, I just want to stress that, was the Lightning Fury. This is another very common Javelin build. People really liked Lightning Fury back in the day when I was a wee lad, you know. We were looking at Lightning Fury, and that was like one of the builds to play. I obviously never really played it because I didn't really play Amazon. But it was one of these skills that everybody was kind of looking at. And yeah, we go ahead and you max the free synergies, being Lightning Bolt at Power Strike. You put 1 point into Javelin Mastery. That's what I did, at least. That's what we decided would be best. I put it max points into Pierce, and the rest we dumped into Evade for some movement speed. We used the T-Stroke. T-Stroke is like a solid option. We use the Tiara. This is not Griffin's. This is a budget approach. So we use the T-Stroke, like just a Tiara we found with +2 and 30 fast run walk. We use the Hustle Rune Ward. That's a very cheap rune ward. You can make yourself. It will give you the maximum breakpoint, so it saves you all these IAS corruptions and extra IAS from other stuff. Our gloves were just with 20 IAS because we needed more IAS to reach the final breakpoint, even with Hustle, I think. If I'm not wrong, I could be misremembering. I think that's what was the case. And you can see that we're dealing damage. We're managing to clear like somewhat okay. The main issue is that obviously we got like a Pus Spitter Merc. We don't have an Infinity, so resistances are a little bit of an issue. And also you can kind of see our mana is getting depleted crazy fast. So really big of an issue. The whole mana thing. If you need to kill anything big, make sure to use like the Lightning Bolt that deals more single target damage. But yeah, we need to solve our mana issue, and we decided it's time to take a tip from an Amazon player. Shouts to Snack Bacon, our friendly chatter. They gave us this tip to make an Insight Rune Ward for an Act 3 Merc. So you basically get a Prayer Merc, the Cold Merc, for people who are not sure, in Act 3, and give him an Insight. You can make an Insight for him in one of these Scepters. And the idea is he will give us some mana regen and some life regen as well, because we just needed to pot so much that it felt like mapping is just going to be, you know, so tiring. So here we go, making that Insight Rune Ward. Ral, Tier, Tal, Soul. We go ahead and grab our Merc. Yeah, and we give him some basic items that you can find anywhere. And we also got this Geet event. He had a bunch of like interesting items, especially the ring that I wanted. I didn't have any money, so I definitely had to finish this map with Lightning Fury, which did take us quite some time. It wasn't like an easy task at all, but we kept picking up gold items, so that also slowed us down. Overall, Lightning Fury, it wasn't the most terrible thing ever, which is the best thing I can say about it. It wasn't Fire Arrow, it wasn't Cold Arrow, it was actually clearing the map, which is definitely nice, but despite that, it still took us a bit over 15 minutes to clear a tier 1 map, which is not the best. Like, I don't think that's like the most amazing time. I think it was like around 16 or 17 minutes total. It's not something I would recommend, but if you're building towards a Lightning Fury, you can always farm other areas, and we go ahead and we farm enough gold to buy the items we wanted. So we go ahead, we get an Occultist, and the ring we got is the Wisp projector with 5 lightning absorb, 20 magic find. And let me take a moment to tell everybody it finally happened. We completed our Grail quest. We have dropped every single unique item in the game. After the stream, I went over the list to check. Every single unique item has been dropped by us. We absolutely finished it, and you can hear like the slam it or it doesn't exist crowd in my chat right now. Over there saying it. I'm not going to expose the names, pushing me to slam this amazing Wisp projector that we finally got for ourselves. And of course, me being the weak person that I am, goes ahead and slams it. I also like doing this. It's part of why we play D2. Go big or go home. Go ahead and we slam our Wisp projector, and the Wisp stays same graphic, and we do get to keep a plus strength slam on a Wisp projector. Not the most exciting slam, but finishing the Grail is exciting enough. Thank you everybody who are watching all the way here. The video is not over or anything, but thank you for following on the SSF journey until we finished our Grail. This was a really happy moment for me. I was so elated to have this finally grail completed. The last time I did like a grail completion was, I think, 7 or 8 years ago on like a vanilla account, where I farmed like vanilla forever till I got like my materials. So that was really something. Finally getting every single unique. Yeah, really happy that we finally got our Wisp. What can I say? The Wisp will be serving our Barbarian probably, because I love my Elite Barbarian so much. But still happy that we got it with our Zon while we were testing. The last build we wanted to test was the Plague Javelin. After we finished doing the Lightning Fury. Sadly, the Lightning Fury wasn't enjoyable enough for me to try another map. I was told that it does really badly on a budget. Somewhat true, so we decided, okay, it's time to try Poison Javelin. For Poison Javelin, we had the most budgety gear that you can possibly have. I'll reopen the video because as I do with these Windows Media players, bugged it for some reason. And yeah, I just want to pause it so we can see the gear. Okay, there we go. So for the setup to Poison Jav, we actually use incredibly budgety gear. We used the Venom Grip that we dropped for some Poison Scale damage, a Venom Word that we dropped for some Poison Scale damage. The rings are the res rings that we had before. We used in the beginning Razor Tail, but then we swapped to Snake Horde we dropped. So Snake Horde gives you a little bit more Poison Scale damage. But you can use either, both are okay. And on Dariel's helm, one socket slam. So again, super budgety stuff. Marowak for CBF. We could have used a Ravenfrost as well in a different like res boots, but that's what we ended up doing. A lidless shield for 2 skills. It had like 1 perfect diamond in it for some resistances. Javelin and Spear skillers, Torch, Annie, and the one thing that we didn't find that you kind of can say kind of could cost you a little bit early on, and even then, Gargoyle's Bite is very cheap, is the Gargoyle's Bite. It was a free skill, but with a bad slam, so a pretty average one, I would say. And let's see how Plague Jav does in the maps on the budget setup, and you can already see doing better than Fire, Cold Arrow, and Lightning Fury. You don't really have too many mana or health issues. I kept the Prayer Merc from Act 3 with the Insight to keep like our mana and health sustained, and it worked pretty well. It was pretty efficient. The main thing that I had to get used to is kind of like the gameplay where you just want to like throw your javelin and keep running. You don't really have to wait for anything. It deals so much damage with budget setups. I have no facets, no extra like poison charms, no crazy gear at all, no plus skills on the rings or anything like that. It really is just shredding the maps, absolutely destroying them. We used the blue +3 javelin amulet, which was another budgety thing. We just found it on the way. And you can see we're looting a ton, but we're progressing pretty fast through the map. So very happy with how Poison Javelin was performing. This is not a build that people generally are looking to play. Everybody was calling it poop or fart zone or something like that apparently. So I'm not too happy with how this build is being perceived by the community. This is a great build. I really enjoy playing it compared to the others on builds that I played. As somebody who doesn't play Amazon and usually doesn't really like Amazon at all, I was actually pretty much enjoying this build. So much so that we're definitely going to do a Dclone attempt with it and probably a Rathma as well on day 3. But this was the day 2 recap. After this, I had to go because it was WrestleMania day, and for the wrestling bros, they know you can't miss WrestleMania day, so I had to end the stream a little bit early. I hope everybody enjoyed this whole episode. On the next episode, we're going to cover more expensive upgrades, so things like getting CTA, getting your correct bows, so like the Blood Raven bow for Fire Arrow, getting like more damage in the Barizza, getting things like a Fortitude, getting an Infinity for the elemental builds, getting a Faith for the physical builds. So, you know, all sorts of upgrades like this. We're going to test these kind of things. That's what we wrote ourselves. It's like, oh yeah, these kind of changes would be really cool to see. And yeah, if you enjoy this content, drop a like and subscribe and all the other things that make the channel grow. That they really help the channel. Yeah, what can I say? You know it. I know it. It takes one press of a button. I really appreciate it. You guys really appreciate it. And yeah, with that said, I'll see you guys on the next stream or in the next video. Whenever you join, have a good whatever you're having, and bye 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 bye.